Hey, what's up everyone? JT here. Welcome to Pineapple Money, where we'll talk about stock, market news, and investing for the long-term portfolio. So holy cow, NEO did a complete 180 today, and looks like they have finally fallen from grace. They were up around 10% in the morning, around $54.20. And then afterwards, they had hit a low of 15% downwards. So that's pretty much a 25% move in one day, all before their earnings on Tuesday, November 17th. But surprisingly enough, there's also a pretty good reason why they've dropped this much, and a news article that came out from a short seller. So we can take a look at that later. So in this video, I'm going to kind of go into NEO's technical chart. I'm going to go to discuss NEO's short seller article, as well as give my own price predictions and where I see NEO going into the future, into earnings, and afterwards as well. And dang, NEO is just pretty much a roller coaster throughout this whole entire week and pretty much this entire year. All right, so let's get started. As I'm filming right now, it is November 13th, Friday the 13th, and markets are closed right now. Looking at NEO's technical chart, we can kind of see that NEO had a huge momentum going into today's November 13th, the Friday, because of bouncing off from Xpeng's earnings, which was yesterday, and also Li Auto's earnings, which was this morning, and both of them did very well. NEO hit a high around $54.20, which was 10% up. And honestly, it looked really good. And in general, I would say that mostly whenever these Chinese EV stocks go up, they kind of go up all together. But in the morning, we can kind of see there's a lot of movement going on right here. A lot of people taking profit, as this had a severe sell-off. And I don't remember what time the short seller news did come out, but I'm sure it was in the morning. As you can kind of tell, there's a huge drop-off, and that just pretty much went out throughout the whole day. Traders went into frenzy and just kind of dragged the whole stock down. And NEO did hit a low around $41, which I did drew a support line from previous right now, and hit that and bounced right back up. Hit a low of $41, which was 15% down, and afterwards went up to 7%. So pretty quick. So looking at the chart today, like I said before, I do see some support lines that I draw before. $41 looks like it is going to use as a strong support. Next one that I did draw before was two previous resistance lines that I have right here, and it looks like in the after hours it is going in between then, but it is after hours, so that doesn't really count since there's less volume then. But as you can see, I did draw some more new lines right here. These are resistance lines and support lines as well. There's definitely a resistance now of $54 since that's the new all-time high. I also drew another resistance right now, right here, when they did bounce off from yesterday's, and also it looks like today as well. And there's also another one where they did hover for a little bit and then drop downwards. So in general, I do say right now, it looks like it is $41 is a strong support line for them. And in today's trading, you kind of see there's lots of volume going to the stock as well. Lots of selling in the morning right here, especially right here. Looks like this is probably when the short seller news did come out, since there's a lot of selling volume right here. And I would say that in general, that even though NEO did drop down to around 50%, they went up very quickly, which kind of just tells me and signals to me that in general, people are still kind of bullish on the stock, and probably maybe disregarding that news that ignited the sell-off in the first place. But in going into earnings, there's still a lot of volatility in the stock, and there's a chance that NEO might retest his $41 support if there's any more negative news that does come out over the weekend. However, I won't be surprised if Monday NEO somehow magically started to uptrend going to earnings, because based off Xpeng and Li Auto earnings, they showed very good forecasts for quarter four. I'm sure right now that people might have the same expectation for NEO right now. But before I do get into juicy news for the short seller, if you do find anything interesting in this video, please don't forget to hit the like button down below and subscribe for more content. And also let me know down in the comments if you sold any shares today or even bought even more. Alright, let's look at that news. So, getting to the major part of this video, which is the news on NEO. So Citron reported this morning saying that they are pulling out of NEO and will expect NEO to move back down to a $25 price target. And of course, this became the huge catalyst for traders and investors to pretty much sell NEO today. Now, I think some investors may think that Citron is a random short seller, but it actually has a famous short seller, Andrew Left, behind the helm. And we can also see that Citron was actually a really early investor back in 2018 when NEO was only $7 per share. Now, think about it, 2018 was 2 years ago. That was when pretty much Tesla was the laughing stock by a lot of Wall Street analysts and thinking that they would go bankrupt. But obviously, you can see what Tesla is right now. So even before looking at the article, there's no denying that NEO has been moving parabolically, as you can kind of tell right here. And for the year by itself, they're up pretty much 1,100%, which is kind of crazy for any kind of normal stock. Now, Andrew Left of Citron Research believes that NIO's current valuation can never be justified by its current standing in the China EV market or near-term prospects, pretty much right here, and believes that right now investors who are flocking into this China EV stock doesn't have a deeper understanding of the market and is marked by price cuts. So they are mentioning how people and investors don't understand how to invest in the stock and why this current valuation is not worth it. And he brings up two major points to back up his claims. So let's go into that. The first point that Citron Research does bring up is the Tesla Model Y China pricing. And they believe that this will actually be the hammer that will hurt NIO significantly. Now, I honestly think that this is actually not a bad point. It's kind of valid. Tesla's Model Y is currently not really in competition with NIO since it is kind of made in the USA and then shipped over, and that price is converted to $73,812. But when and will the Model Y will be made in China, I think it will bring down the price to around $50,000, which is around the US domestic price, and thus will be more competitive against NIO's lineup. So as you take a look at NIO's lineup currently, the Model Y will probably compete against NIO's ES6. In terms of pricing, the China pricing will be definitely more significantly expensive than NIO's ES6. But when Model Y will be made in China, it will compete very, very competitively, which is actually a good thing in my opinion. I feel like competition in general will benefit everyone, especially the consumers. However, realistically, I don't agree with Citron thinking that the Model Y will substantially lower NIO's market share in the EV China market, especially in the future. I see a world where both NIO and Tesla compete against each other and they will be perfectly fine. Now, determining how much market share they'll get in the future, that'll be up to the future, but I still think that NIO will eventually grow and get a bigger market share than they are currently right now. And the second thing that Citron does point out is pretty much they believe that NIO's share price right now is pretty much a big casino world for a lot of investors and traders, because they're pointing out that right now their short interest is almost at a 2-year low, as you can see right here. Now, I will be frank, and yeah, obviously those who are pretty much seeing this stock can see that this looks like a bubble, and those who are getting the stock right now are probably traders and huge firms trying to get in and out. Investors right now probably aren't seeing the stock as a great value, and those investors previously who are holding the stock are just hoping for good returns. Now, I do agree that right now this stock is at a scary peak, looking at $45 and $50 a share price, and you can see how fast they moved up. It is kind of scary to get in right now. And just in general, I think right now, this stock is not a good entry price to get in. So why do I think Citron is important? And in general, why do I think reading this entire article from Citron's short seller research is important and worth dissecting? For one, this short seller research is not too far-fetched from other short sellers, for example, like Hyliion short seller. But in my opinion, there are some points that are valid, like Tesla Model Y being competitive against NIO. However, what I really do disagree against for Citron is that they believe that NIO will reach a price target of $25 again. Especially if NIO continues to reach their production goals, it will sustain itself, and let's get real, the Chinese government won't let their EV angel lose because it's made from China. So this price target to me is kind of really irrelevant. Yes, it's a price target that they have, but I don't think it'll reach down to this $25 price target unless significantly something really crazy happened to them. But the main reason why I think it's important to dissect this is because it's always important to understand the different viewpoints and kind of keeps investors level-headed. So going into Monday after a red day of NIO right here, there are two scenarios I kind of see happening now with NIO. Kind of just based upon the reaction from Li Auto's and Xpeng's earnings this past week. The first is, I believe NIO will probably be red on Monday because some investors may realize that, wow, this bubble is not popping, so I need to bail out before that happens. And then once NIO's earnings come out on Tuesday, investors realize, wow, NIO's Q4 projections look pretty good, so let me buy back in, thus being green and going up afterwards. However, shortly after, I do think that there will be correction after NIO's earnings then. The second is, I believe that NIO will be green on Monday because investors will probably shake off the short seller report and just be like, whatever, I think NIO's due and still bullish. However, going to NIO's earnings, they'll probably expect something very good. And of course, with the market being rational, NIO will probably continue going up. But I do think afterwards there will be correction too. So in both scenarios, I think there will be correction nonetheless. However, if NIO does somehow surprise all of us with something big, I'm sure this will continue going up and then somehow eventually sell off because NIO cannot keep going up forever. Now, the main reason why both Li Auto and Xpeng's earnings went super well, in my opinion, is because of their future guidance in quarter 4. Now, if NIO can show some crazy good guidance for quarter four, then we have ourselves a very, very big winner. However, keep in mind, I don't think any other major announcements are coming for NIO just because NIO Day is set for January 2021, and this is the day probably when NIO pulls out everything that they are pretty much working on. So keep in mind, in general, I can be entirely wrong for this whole analysis, so just keep my words with a grain of salt. Alright, so this kind of wraps up my video on NIO. If you found anything interesting in this video, hit that like button down below and let me know down in the comments if you sold any shares today or bought back in or what you're planning to do with NIO. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.